Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be taking part in some more Historic, and we're going to be playing around with a card. I haven't played around in a long time, but it is actually one of my personal favourite cards from the set that it came from, and that's going to be Sarkhan's Unsealing. I know a lot of you guys do enjoy this card a lot as well. There's a lot of, a lot of chatting about this card whenever it pops up in any kind of video, so I love making videos on this card. 4 mana for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to any target. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to each opponent, each creature, and each planeswalker an opponent controls. Essentially, if you cast a 7 power creature, you've got yourself a board wipe right there. So, we're going to be leveraging that bottom part as best as we can, but for the most part, going to be playing as many creatures that trigger it in general. So, the big ones that we want to talk about are going to be Rotting Regisaur, a 3 mana 7/6. So for 3 mana, we can trigger that bottom part there. At the beginning of your upkeep, you discard a card. That is the downside. But if we're empty-handed, we've got other ways of gaining card advantage. We've got Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner, 3 mana 7 loyalty, gets to untap a permanent as well. Which goes really well with our other card advantage engine. But this one has a passive that says if you cast a creature with power 4 or greater, when it enters the battlefield, I keep saying cast. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So Rotting Regisaur, if we've got a card we want to keep in our hand, Rotting Regisaur can come down with Kiora, draw a card, and then we've got some discard fodder right there. As I mentioned, other card advantage, going to be the Great Henge right here. 7 and 2 green. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures that you control. It also taps for 2 green, which is great for a Kiora untap, since this basically makes Kiora, after a minus, cost 1 mana. We get to gain 2 life, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to put a counter on it and draw a card. So again, Rotting Regisaur can replace itself and replace some of that card advantage, so we can have multiple cards in our hand at any given time. We've also got Golter, Primal Hunger, in addition to the Rotting Regisaur to do a similar thing. It's a 12 mana 12/12, however this one costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So there's a subtle difference between these. Great Henge cares about the greatest power, Golter cares about the total power. So we can have like 2 5/5s out in the field, for example, and we'd get 10 cost reduction on Golter, but for the Great Henge we'd only get 5 cost reduction, so you kind of got to keep that in mind. We've got a sneaky little Carnage Tyrant up here as well, just to go against those counter magic based decks. I just wanted to play with a Carnage Tyrant. I don't actually think it's particularly good in this deck. I think I'd sooner have maybe another land or a Lovestruck Beast, to be honest. But because it can't be countered, and because I don't like my things being countered, we're going to play it. And it's another 7 power creature that triggers the Sarkhan's Unsealing, so we can have a little bit of fun with that. Mentioning Lovestruck Beast, it's a nice early game play, a 1 mana for a 1/1 on turn 1, so if we don't have a turn 1 Llanowar Elves, or our turn 2 Paradise Druid, for example, then we can actually use the Heart's Desire just to make a 1/1. It can't attack unless you got a 1/1, however it can block, which makes it really good against the aggro decks. Having a 3 mana 5/5 out is pretty decent, and a 3 mana 5/5 that when you cast it deals 4 damage to any target is even better. Similar for the Bone Crusher Giant as well, deals 2 damage on the Stomp for 2 mana, and the 3 mana is a 4/3, so it can come down, really decent body, and also triggers the Sarkhan's Unsealing to deal 4 damage to any target. So this is a 6 power permanent, essentially, which you can divide 2 power of wherever you'd like. So yeah, you can combo this with itself in a nutshell, and it's pretty decent. We got the Bond of Flourishing just to tie things together as well. 2 mana to look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent from among them and put it into your hand. Every single card in our deck is a permanent, so if we need a creature to trigger the Unsealing, we can get our Regisaur with it. If we need a mana dork in the early game, we can go get that. If we need to just make a land drop, we can do that as well, and gaining the 3 life buys us all that time that we need to get towards our board wipe, essentially. So yeah, that's going to be the deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy the gameplay that is coming up. If you do, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps out the channel a great deal and lets me know what kind of content you're interested in seeing. Without further ado, let's get on with it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay then, we're in, and we got the Sarkhan's Unsealing for turn 3. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves, always a really good start, so we're going to keep this one. And yeah, pretty happy with it. So we got turn 1 Llanowar Elves, turn 2 maybe Overgrown Tomb tapped into Bond of Flourishing, see if we can find some more Unsealing targets perhaps. Okay, Gilded Goose for our opponent. So Bone Crusher Giant to kill that would have been nice, but we don't have it. And it's probably going to get used right now. So this looks like the Simic ramp deck, maybe, with Leyline of Abundance and whatnot. Yeah, just going to go Bond of Flourishing. Find, yeah, I think it's just Bone Crusher Giant, to be honest. Tap land, and say go. So next turn we go with the Sarkhan's Unsealing, and then from there we can start shooting things to death. There's Leyline of Abundance. Alright, so they can produce 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana next turn. Once I've played my Sarkhan's Unsealing, they will be able to cast like 4 mana's worth of things next turn. Alright, so play your turn out. If it's a Nissa, it's a really good spot for us because we get to kill all the lands. And we get to ping Nissa as well with a Rotting Regisaur. Hydroid Crisis X6. Okay. That's not too great for us. 4, 5, 6, 7. We probably want to start pinging some stuff off, I think. I'll leave the Hydroid Crisis for now. So what we'll do is we'll go with Stomp on Paradise Druid. And then we'll play Bone Crusher Giant, which triggers the Sarkhan's Unsealing, and we'll kill the Gilded Goose. So that that can't produce mana later. We could have also gone with the Stomp on Krasis plus Regisaur, I guess, would have actually maybe been better. But, I mean, we're closing in on being able to do that kind of thing anyway. We were a land drop away from doing it specifically. Alright, so... yeah, we can do this now. So let's go Lovestruck Beast. 4 damage to Hydroid Krasis. Comes down, gives cost reduction. Galter does 4 to everything. And then we start swinging. Alright, we should have done that a turn earlier, but we're doing it now, so that's all that matters. Oops, indeed. Yep, no mana docks for you. Alright. So a little bit sloppy, but we did the right thing in the end, and let's move on to the next game. Alright, we're in. And I like this hand, actually. It seems pretty good. Opponent's got some fancy sleeves. I'm going to keep this. We got the Song of Creation sleeves, which you get from the Mastery Pass, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to have them right now. So I think our opponent paid money to get extra levels, which they probably don't actually need to do. So the weird thing is that we can go with Llanowar Elves here, but it's really likely just to die for 2 life, and like they'll use a shock and we won't be gaining anything from it, so... I mean, I guess if they're going to shock the Llanowar Elves, they're not shocking me, which means the 2 life that we're going to pay here wouldn't make much of a difference. So let's take the chance that they don't have a shock or don't want to kill it, I guess. That would be my running theory. Thin Street Dodger. I could also just block a Dodger as well. That might be worth doing. I don't think it is, though. Let's take 2. And they'll let it go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go Woodland Cemetery, Kiora. Going to untap the Stomping Grounds and play a Llanowar Elves, I think. Really need to stabilize. If we can get like a Great Henge, the life gain on that's going to make a big difference. As well as the ramp. Okay. I am going to trade off a Llanowar Elves with a Tin Street Dodger just to preserve my life total. Oh, it's goblins. Okay. That would explain the not touching my stuff situation. No, I'm definitely not blocking now. Just going to hope for the best. Alright, so 4, 5, 6 with Kiora. We can play the Carnage Tyrant. But it will cost us some life, but it will make a 7/6 that draws us a card. We could also go for the Bond of Flourishing, which leaves us with 4 mana effectively, so we could go for Sarkhan's Unsealing and potentially kill our opponent with a Carnage Tyrant that way. I think that's probably worth it. Let's go for the... Ooh, we didn't get it. Alright. We do get Rotting Regisaur down, though. Costs us a little bit of life, but we do get a little bit of a blocker as well. Are we going to die? Going to 10. I don't think we untap. We're going to actually discard the spare Kiora as well, which is quite nice. Goblin War Chief, so everything has haste and is slightly cheaper. Discard Kiora. And we get Overgrown Tomb. So, play the Forest. Play the Carny T. Draw a card. And let's untap a Forest to play a Llanowar Elves, I suppose. And we do need to start pressuring our opponents, so let's get the Rotting Regisaur in there. And pressure our opponent before they can just spew their hand out. Since everything does get haste. And as it currently stands, they have to throw things under the bus for Carnage Tyrant. So everything's getting 2 cost reduction now. It doesn't matter if it was 1 red pip to begin with. I think this is where you all attack. Not getting Unsealing here is really, really bad. If we draw Unsealing, it's not really going to make a difference either. Don't want the Overgrown Tomb. Don't want the Blood Crypt. My goodness, this has not gone very well at all. Alright. Swing, swing. We'll untap Carny T with Kiora. And at least we do have some blockers. 6 unblockable though with Tin Street Dodger. If they're going to go for the triple block, then I'll just untap Regisaur. Easy. Alright. Play this because we're going to discard it anyway. And I'm liking where we're at. I'm not loving where we're at though. Because this is where they can play really cheap ringleaders and siege gang commanders. And that's a 1-mana Goblin Matron to get them whatever they want. So they get the pick of the litter. It's going to be a Legion War Boss. No, that's real bad. Oh no. I think it would have been better to go for a Skirt Prospector there, right? You know, get Skirt Prospector out, sack Ringleader, play War Boss off a Ringleader. End up in the same situation, but you've got a Skirt Prospector out, which actually has some added value to it. They really should be pressuring me right now. I mean, at the very least, they have to attack him with this 2/2, so if it's going to die anyway, you might as well send the rest. Alright, so yeah, we're on somewhat of a chump block duty. Guess we triple block. Takes 6. The block here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure on this one. I think that's what I want to do, though. Ugh. I've got all the mana to cast everything in my deck anyway. So discard nothing. Great Henge. Okay. Get in with Rotting Regisaur and Llanowar Elves. Force to block. And then I guess we're untapping Regisaur for blocks, and we've got 2 life on the Great Henge, so we're a virtual 8. I think we're still just dead, though. I think we're still probably just gonna die. We got rid of their cost reduction, though, so they're paying full price again. We could easily die, though. Something like another War Chief for 3 mana. It's a hasty boy. Are they miss lethal? I think they just miss... Oh, no. Nothing has haste. So we're going to do that to gain a little bit of life, and then we're going to block this Ruin Blaster. Go to 2. I was going to say, if they had haste, they probably did sequence it in such a way where they did miss lethal. What do we draw? It needs to be really good. Creatures just to keep chaining off would be really nice, but obviously just a land is all I deserve. So let's get in for 7 again. Yep, trade off the Prospector. What's the activation on this? 3. They have to sack their own board to do it. Alright, so we untap the Regisaur. Play our land. 2 blockers, 2 life. We're at virtual 4. Currently not taking any damage. But opponent gets to get a Matron to find whatever they need to win the game next turn. Oh, this is tense. Gotta pay full price for it, though. Again, I think they've thrown the game away by doing that all attack. Tin Street Dodger. So that can bypass my Regisaur. Alright, we're going to gain a little bit of life. We're going to go to 4. We're going to block it off and just take a token out. Actually, should we go to 1 and take the Tin Street Dodger out, since that can get past all my stuff? Not sure it makes a difference either way. I literally need a creature or something. There we go. Christ. Okay. Paradise Druids. Chains into Bone Crusher Giant. Bone Crusher Giant kills Matron. And that's the blocker gone. Get to swing for 7. Wow. Okay. Really horrible draws from us. Our opponent allowed us to have those horrible draws, though. And eventually, we managed to get right past it for victory. That was too close. Way too close, though. Okay, then. Turn 1, Llanowar Elves. A cheap Great Henge off of Lovestruck Beast. And a bond to find our Unsealing. I think we perfectly want to keep this hand. This looks great. See, it's going to be turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, I think. Depends on how much interaction our opponent wants, but this is Magic the Gathering. After all, interaction is dead in this game. So, yeah, we'll see if there's any, Ooh, Sultai with Fibblethip. Oh. It's the Diligent Excavator deck. Alright, well, we're just gonna slap this Love-Struck Beast out. And make that Great Henge cost 2. Oh, 4, sorry. A virtual 2, since we get to tap for 2 mana. And there's Emery. Puts all lands into the yard. Oof. That's an oof. Okay, so shock ourselves to undo that damage. And then we'll go for Bond of Flourishing off of that, I think. Grab. Yeah, Woodland Cemetery's fine. Yeah, swing. Might as well. So this has got white in it, so it's probably the Kethis combo deck. But it's splashing blue for Emery and Fibblethip. Oh, sorry, not splashing blue, because you need blue for the Diligent Excavator. So you can mill yourself. What's the colour of the milling? The white the splashing? Yeah, I guess so. Alright. So we got the Great Henge. Got our land drop for the turn. I guess we're going Bond of Flourishing first to find Sarkhan's Unsealing. Ban them from having creatures. And yeah, let's just get in. Do we even want to keep the Llanowar Elves around? Yeah, I'll trade it off. Got 6 mana, I can cast my entire deck. You're at 12. I'm threatening to hit you with several triggers. And here's Kethis. Don't believe Kethis can win the game on the spot here, though, which is pretty much what they need to do. Since I'll go Bone Crusher, kill Fibblethip. Actually, hang on. Comes the target of a spell, shuffle it, so it would actually fizzle this, wouldn't it? Instead, let's go 2 damage to you. And then let's cast Bone Crusher Giant. Like so. 4 damage to you. Get you out of here. Draw a card. It's going to be an Overgrown Tomb. And then I could hit them in the face again. Yeah, just hit them in the face again. Draw a card. Boop you. Swing. They'll block, because they'll die if they don't, as far as they're concerned. Alright, they need the Fibblethip around. I guess they need it for the Mox Amber mana. Teferi will not do anything. And yep. You have lost, opponent. How's it feel? Probably pretty bad. Pretty bad. Alright, well, let's go for another game. Alrighty then, let's have a look. See, this looks like a great hand. We're going to keep it. Got lots of shock lands, but we can put those into play tapped on turn 1, so not too bad. If it's the big mana decks like we've been seeing recently, then the Stomp is going to be pretty useful. Ancient Ziggurat. Probably means it's humans. Seen a lot of Esper humans recently. Golter. Probably better than lands, so let's take it. Much better than lands. So, Thalia. Ooh, Skynight Vanguard. Maybe it's a Winota deck. Would make a lot of sense. Let's just kill the board. Get you out of here. Play Llanowar Elves, gives cost reduction on Golter. Not much, but some. I mean, it could technically still be humans. It's Knight of Grace. That's a human. Venerable Knight. That's a human. Look more like knights, but, you know, looks like humans. Alright, so let's go Overgrown Tomb, untapped. Regisaur Alpha. Great Henge. Tap. We could play the other Great Henge, but I'll leave it for discarding with Rotting Regisaur. Looks like an all-creature deck, so they're going to have a hard time getting through our big blockers. And having a hard time dealing with 12/12s as well. It's actually 13/13, but that's beside the point. Yeah, Sarkhan's Unsealing would be nice. So get rid of the spare Great Henge. Might as well play our Bone Crusher Giant, because that gives the cost reduction on Golter anyway. And draws us a card. Another Bone Crusher Giant. Kind of regretting playing that, because I would have liked my Stomp, I suppose, but this is fine. This is fine. No problems there. And we got a spare creature as well. A spare card, sorry, to discard to the Regisaur. Completely undone the downside of that 3-mana 7/6. And what do you want to do now, opponent? What do you want to do now? Worthy Knight, okay. Going wide. It's not really good with a Trampler, but I'm sure they want to give it a shot. So we'll discard a spare Kiora. We will tap the Great Henge and an Overgrown Tomb to play her. Untapping the Great Henge to play Paradise Druids. We didn't really have a Stomp there, but I'm sure we could use it in combat to maybe save Golter and swing right through. We're swinging with everything anyway, so they're going to have some really horrible blocks. Like the moment these guys die, then everything gets cost reduced, and even the Paradise Druid starts dealing lethal damage to things. And yeah, I'm just getting too much life, too much card advantage. And that's all she wrote. Alrighty then, we're in. We got Bond of Flourishing on 2 to find a land for Kiora on 3. I guess we've also got a turn 1 Heart's Desire as well, so it's pretty good. Yeah, I like this little curve we've got going. Lovestruck Beast being the 5/5 will give a 5 power cost reduction on the Great Henge as well, making it 4 mana, so it's really good as a turn 4 play after the turn 3 Lovestruck Beast. So that's an option available to us as well. It's probably better to go Great Henge first before Kiora, because Kiora can come down off of the Great Henge and then untap it. Therefore, kind of making a 1 mana, effectively. Which is quite nice. Alright, Stitcher's Supplier. We got ourselves a graveyard deck. It's Storm Herald. Alright, Sarkhan's Unsealing would be... it'd be okay. What we really want is the Stomps from Bone Crusher Giant, because Storm Herald is a 3/2. So if we can stomp it in response to all of the triggers, that'd be pretty good. You want to trade off? I'm aware of why you want to do that. They want to fill their graveyard, and we do not want to let them. There's a Storm Herald, so that's the card they're building around right there. We're going to go with... let me just dropping down an Overgrown Tomb and going Bond of Flourishing, to be honest. There's Bone Crusher Giant. So we'll take it. The thing is, though, with the situation we've got now, it's not really going to do too much, because when Storm Herald comes out, it can apply the auras to anything. So they can make the Stitcher's Supplier really huge. Yeah, I'll take another one. Thrill of Possibility, Prodigious Growth. Yeah, they're getting there. Right, so we're going to go with Overgrown Tomb, Untapped, and Lovestruck Beast. And, I mean, we do need this 1/1 around in order to allow Lovestruck Beast to attack, but to be honest, it's going to be blocking. Yeah, it's probably still not worth it. Alright, we really want a land next turn, otherwise we're not going to do a great deal. Timuret Calls the Dead. Mills over another Prodigious Growth. So they've got a plus 14/14 at the moment. Well, plus 15, plus 14. It's a lot of damage. Great Henge, though. It's pretty good for us. Alright. Let's make a 1/1. Pass the turn. Got Death Touches over here. Another Cetessan Training. I think they're waiting for the Ancestral Mask, which gives +2/+2 for each enchantment on the battlefield. Another Stitcher's Supplier. Yeah, we're dead real quick. There's the Ancestral Mask, so they literally just need Storm Herald and they win now. And they win. Well, let's see how they stack it all. I'm sure it doesn't particularly matter. Yeah, 38 power. Too slow for us. We don't really interact with the graveyard at all, so, you know, just let them have it. Meh. It's really weird. I've been recording for what feels like half an hour now. I think the average game of a historic matchup is like 4 minutes. It becomes really hard to make long-form content when every single game actually maxes out at 4 minutes. My deck techs are longer than the games of Magic the Gathering. Such a weird thing, but eh. Next game, I suppose. See you in 5 minutes. Okay, we are in turn 1 Llanowar Elves, turn 2 Paradise Druid. Seems okay. I'm gonna need a little bit more than what we have, but seems okay. Alright, yeah, straight on, shock it on in. We've got like the Bond of Flourishing to gain some life back anyway, so shouldn't have too much to worry about. And work our way towards maybe this Golter to give the Great Henge a little bit of cheapness. Okay. I'm not going to block here. Definitely could. Oh, more Shocklands, please. Help me. Definitely could block there. They're basically assuming that I care about this Llanowar Elves, and I do, to a certain extent. I think we're just going to go like that, get a Black Source into play. And then hope we can find something to reduce the cost of Great Henge a little bit further. Is it goblins? Gruul goblins? Maybe. So let's go Bond of Flourishing. Gain a little bit of life. Bone Crusher Giant's not too bad. Makes the Great Henge 5 mana. Also reduces the cost of Golter by 4 as well. Yeah, I think we want to go with that. Do we want to just shock ourselves, though, to kill Tin Street Dodger? I could see it. Could see it being the right play. We take 3, take 5 ultimately with the Stomping Ground. Or we could just stomp. I think we've got to push. Push towards the cost reduction. Need this stuff down. I could definitely see a world where our opponent starts shooting off our mana dorks now. Legion War Boss. Okay, that's what I'm be blocking. Just take that token out, or the Tin Street Dodger. I don't think they're going to run everything in, but if they want to, then we'll take care of the non-token. They're wondering if I want this Bone Crusher around and whether it's worth the trade with the Zertar Goblin. It is. But do they decide it is? They decide it is. Alright. Well, I decide it's not worth it. For me, personally. Okay. Ooh, there we go. That's the thing. Tough choice here. I don't think Sarkhan's Unsealing's the play. It's either play Golter down now and have the blockers, or it's Great Henge for the greed, which gives us 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana next turn. And we can potentially unseal into a big boy. I think I'm going with the Henge because it's just got that life gain attached to it. And we're not under a great deal of pressure right now. Trashmaster, no! Oh, that's grim. Trashmaster gets to destroy artifacts. And Great Henge, unfortunately, is an artifact, so whichever creature blocks Bone Crusher Giant gets sacked to kill the Great Henge. I mean, I think that they're just going to sack, or let this go and sack this post-combat anyway if I don't block like this, so let's let them do it. Maybe they don't know that's what Trashmaster does, but they're hovering it really closely. Oh, interesting. Well, float it, unfloat it. Unsealing. And go Kiora. They don't seem to have noticed that Trashmaster can kill Great Henge. So I'm going to try and get the untap here. It's fine if I don't get it. I'll just play Unsealing anyway. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just play Unsealing now. And I've got Galter to clean up next turn. This seems fine. Not seen Trashmaster in a long time. Whirly Boy gets rid of my creatures. Oh my god. Oh, that's an amazing top deck. Absolutely stonkingly good. Take 4, 6. I mean, what am I digging for now? It has to be like Rotting Regisaur, doesn't it? Like 6, 10. I feel like you just attack with everything because you win next turn. Even if your Trashmaster does go underneath the Bone Crusher Giant, you gotta force me to block. And this doesn't force me to block. Oh, better lucky than good. Draw cards. And we've got that next turn as well. Just in case they got the haste, Kiora is untapping that Bone Crusher Giant. Now, Galter does exactly the same. Siege Gang does not produce enough blockers to live. We get rid of Bond of Flourishing because we don't need it. We play a land, go Galter, blow up the world, attack in, draw more cards, and yeah, untap with Kiora, play a Galter, hit you in the face, don't even have to combat damage. Wow, opponent really dropped the ball on that one. What a top deck though. I think that was our only out. I think that's the only way we were going to win that game. Possibly, I didn't do the math, possibly anything that could kill Trashmaster might have gotten us there, but I really doubt it. I think the board was way too wide at that point. But yeah, Rotting Regisaur for the win. We basically just needed the bottom trigger, so any way we could have magically casted Galter, or just the Regisaur that we got were the only outs. So thank Christ for that. Alright, next game. Okay, we're in. And if we can get a mana dork, this hand would be great. We're going to keep it. We're going to hope that the magic gods are on our side. We do have a turn 2 Bond of Flourishing to find something to get Sarkhan's Unsealing down early. And we've got 2 creatures that trigger the bottom half of this card, so feeling pretty confident this is a good enough card. A good enough hand, sorry. Green and Cumena's Speaker. Ooh, boy. Alright, so this is a bit of a shaky hand now, because that's a pretty fast deck. Lovestruck Beast, or do we just want another land? We could do with another land since we're not getting the mana dork, and we've already got enough to trigger, and this triggers the bottom half, these 2 3s as well, so yeah, let's just take a Rootbound Craig and just do nothing next turn as well. I think we're going to win this one, to be honest, if we only have to survive 2 turns. More lands, okay, wonderful. We're going to go with the Shock Land, because we really don't care that our opponent knows about it. Although we could play a Rotting Regisaur just to block. I suppose that's okay. Get rid of a spare land. Yeah, that should really slow them down so that we win. Name's Merfolk with Unclaimed Territory. I don't expect them to be attacking. They might want to set up like a River Snake. Or Merfolk not Mistbinder, Merfolk. What's the one unblockable? That one. You know the one I mean. Probably setting that up. No attacks, apparently. Could have Spell Pierce, which would be not fun. But, you know, we've got to take our chances. We got all the time in the world anyway, so we can just maybe drop some Regisaurs and some Galters next turn, regardless of this getting Spell Pierced. There's usually like a 2 of Spell Pierce in a Merfolk deck. Maybe they've switched to Mystical Dispute, I don't know. You can still cast it. Let's it go. And a Merfolk Trickster so they can do an attack. Okay. You're dead now. I get a cast trigger that blows up your entire board. And I get to do that essentially every single turn. Play more. I dare you. Ooh, at least it replaces itself. It's less of a feels bad when they die. I have a land so I can play Galter. That'd be nice. I don't really want to go double Regisaur. Although it doesn't really make much difference. Get rid of a Regisaur. Paradise Druid. Okay, well. Gotta do this. 4 to each creature. Could have a dive down, perhaps. But that doesn't really save the Mistbinder, so does that even save anything? Guess it saves one of the Tricksters. Nope, just let it go. Alright. We getting in, boys. We getting in. You have to discard this hand, so we're basically a 0-card hand, but still. Ooh, they got me with a Trickster. Delaying the inevitable, you say? They do have a Kumena. I mean, we're basically on top decks, but we're attacking with 14 damage. We just need one good top deck and we win this game. Bond of Flourishing. Could be a Galter. It's just a land. Okay, well, grab the Stomping Ground so we can play it tapped. Get in for 14. They've got to block at least one of them. Otherwise, this game's over. Just the Adept. Is it tap for 3 to draw a card? It is. Okay, so they can draw. And go to 7. But next turn, they'll have to block both of them. Guess they could have, like, Deep Root Waters. That would help them really stabilize, I suppose. Gonna get in for 3. They don't plan on blocking with Kumena. Alright, we discard nothing, because we got nothing. And then we just need a good top deck. Here we go. Good top deck. Galters are really good. Loves... Oh. Wow, that's really... nice. Nice. Lost a creature to my own trigger. Smart. They forgot to draw a card there, but still doesn't undo the smart nature of their own unsummon trigger. I guess they could get my current Regisaur with the same thing as well, but choosing not to. Kiora. It's not too bad, actually. So we get to attack him with the Regisaur, they're forced to block, and then we get to untap Kiora. Untap Regisaur with Kiora. Could also chain together some creatures as well. So, forced to block, Trickster down. Draws a card. Kiora. Untap Regisaur. And they got 2 cards. And they decide it's not worth playing. I don't know. I think I'd play it out. If you could do another unsummon effect, you've got the removal. But I guess it's really rocking a hard place, though. They need 1 creature and then they can draw a card. So when they block with one of them, they can tap all 3, draw a card, and it practically replaces itself. I guess maybe if this is land and land, I would probably scoop at that point. But I don't know. I feel like that was not the time to scoop, but opponent seems to disagree, which is fair enough. It's up to them. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this particular list. I do love playing with Sarkhan's Unsealing. I wish we had a couple more creatures that really exploited that bottom card, but we've only got a few with a little bit of a downside, so, you know, what's wrong with a Death Shadow or something like that, a 13-13? I'd be up for that. But, yeah, whatever. Alright guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you did enjoy the content, hit that bell icon if you want to see more content. All that stuff really helps out the channel a great deal, and I appreciate everyone who does that. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.